So here's what I think is very important. Perspective is everything, and that means the virtual perspective. Everybody on the team thinking in a virtual way, understanding that even if they don't work as a virtual employee, or even if no one on their actual team does, they're communicating with clients and with vendors all of the time using these virtual tools, so they should be thinking in a virtual way. Perhaps if you're working globally, then in a global way with everything that they do, and saying things like, well, I don't want to use this tool because there's no reason I need to use that. If their clients, their vendors or other employees need to communicate that way, then everyone on the team needs to be willing to kind of adopt the processes, the procedures and the tools that they need to do to make the virtual environment effective for everybody. It's not just about you, right? It's about everybody else on the team. Trust first, but proactively manage issues. We should trust our employees, and we should trust that they're getting the results. But I shared with you a couple of, they're kind of funny stories, but true stories about people that really weren't actually doing their work at all. So it is important to make sure that you've got some, that you're not over-trusting people, that you are, you're really sure that they're getting the results, that they're actually getting some work done. You probably don't care if they take Friday off, if they get all their work done Monday to Thursday, but make sure they're actually not taking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off and not doing anything. That's very important. Use situational communication. So use the right the most appropriate, I should say, communication tool, depending on what it is that you want to communicate. And work with your team members to do that. Help them to understand, well, when is it appropriate for me just to send an instant message? When is it more appropriate for me to send an email? When is it more appropriate for me to post something on a message board that we use, or to have an open conversation? Maybe you have a kind of a chat function on one of your sites. What is okay to talk about where, and how should we communicate? And when is it more important to just get on the phone? Some information is really much better if you just get on the phone and talk about it. Especially if you want to share bad news about something, you know, as the manager particularly. In a situation where you've got to tell some people on your team, sorry, but we're downsizing. You don't send out an email, right? If you can't meet face to face, make sure you don't just do what's easier or more comfortable for you, but do what's really the most appropriate thing. Be creative with team building. Have some fun with that. You know, figure out what's going to work for your team, and don't feel like, oh, adding those little kind of fun things in isn't adding any value professionally, because it really is adding value in building that teamwork and you know, keeping that interaction going and making it a little bit more fun to work on your team. One of the things I missed when I first started working virtually a few years ago was the fun things that we would do in the office. I really missed that. I was completely just left out from all of that because I no longer came into the office anymore. So I think you can actually have both, you know, the best of both worlds, and then make sure you're managing performance on a daily basis, so on a weekly basis, that you know what everyone's doing.